Episode 176, Seoul Land Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Chapter 209. Demonic Whale Depths. TL by Piggy Bottle. Tang San did not violate Xiao Wu, he just held her close, letting her fall asleep in his embrace. The moment she had fallen asleep, her spirit had returned back into him. However, Tang San felt as if he was truly hugging Xiao Wu to sleep. That night he slept really well, and the cold air outside was completely unable to affect his warm heart. At the same time, his desire for power rekindled, as only after reaching rank 90 could he revive his lover. Early in the morning, while the sea was still covered with a layer of mist, the crew had already awakened and the three seasick people were also already feeling much better. With their recovered health, their appetite improved as well. Breakfast was black bread and fish soup with some smoked salmon and roe, a normal breakfast out at sea. It is worth mentioning that, due to the good price Tang San paid, the fish roe was actually black fish roe, which was extraordinarily delicious. As you bit into the fish roe, it would release a fresh flavor into your mouth. Adding on the black bread, it truly became a delicacy. It took some effort to prepare this breakfast, yet it was just wolfed down by the group in an instant. Ma Heng-jun bounced up saying, "Come, let's go up to the deck for some fresh air. The weather is getting a little colder though, do you all want me to help warm you up?" Oscar stood up as well after having his breakfast, filled with vitality. He shot Tang San a glance before saying, "Thanks fatty, but we are not that weak yet, come, let us all go up to the deck for some air." While coming out of the cabin and onto the deck, the sun rising from the east gradually dispersed some of the sea mist. Captain Hader came over with a few members of the crew laughingly asking, "Dear distinguished guests, was breakfast of your liking?" Ma Heng-jun stuck out his thumb, saying, "It was pretty good, especially the black fish roe sauce, it was really fresh." Hader proudly said, "That's for sure, if this sauce was to be sold inland, it would be worth more than its weight on gold. But, there are better things to come, and it is also about time anyway." As he said this, Ma Heng-jun suddenly lost his step, shaking his head he murmured, "Why do I suddenly feel dizzy?" Hader smilingly said, "Dizzy is right, how much did you eat just now?" "Perfect, perfect." The Shrek Seven Devils' faces suddenly changed, with the exception of Xiao Wu's, starting from Ma Heng-jun, then Dai Mubai, Tang San, Oscar, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing, and additionally Bai Chenxiang fell to the ground, leaving only Xiao Wu dazedly standing there. Hader laughed to himself, pleased. "So what if you are spirit masters? On the sea, it is our domain. This time is not too bad, I don't know what rich families these kids come from, but once we empty their spirit bags, we will be rich. Commander will surely reward us well. Do it, bundle them up first and tie up their limbs." The first mate tapped Hader, pointing at Xiao Wu, "Why is there one of them still standing there? I am pretty sure she was eating just now too." Hader also went cold for a while. Looking at the dull-eyed and slightly dazed look Xiao Wu, he could not help but frown. At this point, a faint voice sounded, "She did not collapse because she is unable to act like us. Experiencing utter despair right after happiness is more exciting, isn't it?" Along with the voice, the originally collapsed Shrek Seven Devils one by one stood back up, patting off the dust on their body as Hader and his sailors all stared dazedly at the sight in front of them. "Thi, this is impossible!" Hader defeatedly cried out, "Our 5 Brewster call anesthetic is able to knock out a person for 3 days and 3 nights, yo-yo." Tang San looked at him pityingly. Too lazy to even bother explaining. Using poison against him, the Tang sect leader, was just like trying to show off in the face of an expert. Even if Tang San was not here, just using little Ao's detoxification sausages was more than enough to easily get rid of that bit of poison. "Actually, on the first day we came out to sea, I had already took note of you all. You were just ship crew, yet you as the captain knew about us spirit masters all too well. I don't know what method you all used to conceal your spirit power, but spirit masters and normal people are different. Your crew's movement is too agile, and your strengths are all obviously more than that of a normal person. A crew made up of all spirit masters, we are actually still quite pleased about this." Seeing Tang San's seemingly dull yet profound eyes, Hader angrily said, "So what if you all seen through it? Out on the sea, so what if you are spirit masters? You landlubbers will just die here all the same. Do it, get rid of them, let them know our true power." As he said this, they no longer needed to conceal themselves. In an instant, with Hader in the front, these 8 crew members released their spirits. Ring by ring their spirits shone. Captain Hater had 5 spirit rings shining on his body, while the first mate had 4 spirit rings shining on him. Amongst the other 6 spirit masters, 2 had 3 spirit rings, while the remaining 4 had 2 spirit rings. Hater was very certain, so what if these youths were all spirit masters? If all else failed, he was certain that they would be able to take them down. This was the ocean, and being all sea spirit masters they had the advantage in the first place. What's more, these youths in front of him looked no more than 20 or so years old. How strong could they be? At most they would be 3-ringed spirit elders. As a spirit king, he was confident of being able to easily take down these youths. Seeing them release their spirit rings, Tang San thoughtfully spoke, "These few days I have already carefully inspected. If you were really all spirit masters, then 3 of you would be enough to run this boat, the excess really had little use." While he was speaking, the opposing 8 people had already rushed over. This was the ocean, and there was an abundance of water energy they could use. In the worst case, they could retreat into the sea. Of course that was only a last resort, the price of this boat was not low, and if not in a desperate situation they would be not willing to have to destroy the ship. Ning Rong Rong and Oscar stood there laughing. The moment they saw the spirit ranks of these crew members, they threw out any ideas they had of even attacking. The people who attacked were only 2 of them, Tang San and Ma Hung Jun. A crystal blue light bathed the deck as strands of blue-silver grass as tough as steel shot out. This was only the first spirit ability, binding. Other than Captain Hater, the other 7 crew members had their movements completely sealed by the shining blue light, such that they even had no way to activate their spirit abilities. While Hater, without moving, maintained his previous pose with his hand extended, looking at Tang San as if seeing a freak. Yellow, yellow, purple, black, black, red. 6 spirit rings silently floating around Tang San, each one of them as if mocking Hater. In front of Tang San's blue-silver emperor, even the spirit ancestor first mate was completely entangled. Tang San was definitely not going to give them the opportunity to escape into the waters and raise the boat. As a control-type spirit master, and with his spirit power also completely outclassing these peoples, if he couldn't do something as simple as this, then he could forget about being a spirit master. Ma Hung Jun walked up to them with a wide grin on his face, his body giving off the same beautiful glow of his spirit rings, tinged with a little of his flaming hot phoenix flame. Hater originally wanted to attack, but he found that he was completely unable to move his body. He only managed to see the 4th spirit ring on Tang San's body flash once, and then around him, he could only see an incomparably hard golden blue cage appear. 10,000-year spirit ability, God, it was actually a 10,000-year spirit ability. For Hater, who only had 3 yellow and 2 purple spirit rings, he had not a shred of fighting spirit left in him. He knew that today he had lost, and he had lost so very terribly. No wonder these people dared to go to that place, even though they were young. How could they possess just so much strength? With 2 puffs sounding out, Ma Hung Jun's hands had separately landed on the heads of the first mate and another crew member. Without any bloodshed, just some green smoke came out from the cages they were trapped in. Through the cries for mercy, Fatty's heart remained hard as iron. Since Tang San said that only 3 people were needed for the ship, then they only needed 3 of them left. Give mercy? When facing a group of pirates who wanted to rob and murder them, what mercy did they deserve? These pirates only deserved to die a horrible fate 10 times worse. As the blue-silver grass retreated, 5 corpses dropped out, flung into the ocean, which would be their final resting place. This bout was completely suspenseless, settled in just this short amount of time. The other 2 crew members already lost control of their bowels. If not for the blue-silver emperor binding them, they would have already collapsed on the ground in fear. They had definitely killed before, but the fear of being killed is of a completely different level. Tang San's blue-silver emperor once again shot out, grabbing hold of these 2 crew members. He swung them into the ocean. As sea spirit masters, being dunked into the ocean would not kill them, and their bodies need to be cleaned of their filth. Walking to the Hater, who had not the slightest intention of resistance in the blue-silver prison, Tang San indifferently smiled. His eyes dazzlingly stared at Hater and, under his gaze, Hater could not help but feel himself fall into some kind of trance. I think we need to have a small chat now. While saying that, 2 strands of blue-silver grass entered the cage and tapped on Hater's chest area 5 times. Hater could only feel his body become numb, and in the next moment, the spirit power in his body seemed to be blocked by something, while the 5 spirit rings around him faded away. Using acupuncture techniques to seal his opponent's spirit power was similar to the method of sealing internal energy in the previous world. For Hater, in this state, let alone stir up trouble, even jumping overboard would be impossible. Doing away with the blue spirit cage, Tang San's handsome face let out an elegant smile. Captain Hater, I am guessing you are pirates. Earlier you mentioned your commander, what is that all about? If you don't want to end up like your 5 subordinates. Hater's face was pale, his legs trembling, falling onto the ground. Mercy, please have mercy. Whatever you want to know I will answer, as long as you don't kill me. Tang San looked condescendingly at him saying, that is fine, I don't have many other requests. As long as you tell me where you come from, and safely send us to our destination, then I will spare your life. Hater let out a sigh of relief saying, I'll speak, Great Spirit Emperor, this boat of ours hails from the Purple Pearl Pirate Group. Specially used for finding juicy sheep at the harbor, we will kill them on the seas then hand over the loot to our regiment. Tang San nodded his head, saying, say, what is the situation in the Purple Pearl Pirate Group? Where is your headquarters? How many people do you have, and who is your leader? Hater knew what would happen to him if he did not speak what he knew, so he very cooperatively replied, our Purple Pearl Pirate Group resides on the Purple Pearl Island, 2 days away by boat. In these 10 years, under the leadership of Master Purple Pearl, we have either assimilated or destroyed all the small pirate groups in this area, forming a rather large group. In total we have about 3,000 people, of which over 200 are spirit masters. My Sea Devil ship is also highly ranked in the group. This crew is all my own people. I was originally the leader of my own pirate group before we were taken in. Master Purple Pearl is a rank 73 spirit sage and is really strong. She is about 37 or 38 years old but looks only about 20 or so. She is extremely pretty. Tang San frowned, she is a lady. Hater nodded his head. We live by plundering and collecting taxes in the ocean. Tang San asked, do vast sea city officials not care about this? Hater curled his lips saying, even if they wanted to care, they couldn't. Just the 200 or so spirit masters will already make them think twice before entering the waters, let alone rashly pursue us. Also we have our ways of doing things, and not completely corner people, we just pillage their stuff, we don't usually kill. And we only rob from nobles, they have the best things. Daimyo Bai coldly smiled, saying, then that means that you regarded us as fat noble sheeps? Are nobles all bad people? Do they all deserve to die? This, Hater knew he had misspoken, his face slightly contorted. Tang San said, you get up, we will not kill you. Send us to Sea God Island, I am not interested in your band of pirates. No more tricks, I am sure you already feel that your spirit power has been sealed. I left some restrictions on your body, if you try something, you will suffer only one fate, one worse than death. In those last 4 words, you could clearly feel his tone become colder. As he said that, the blue-silver grass moved and those 2 crew members being washed in the ocean were brought back on the deck. Continue guiding the ship. Although I am not that good with ships, I still know the general direction. I trust that you are not stupid, if you want to live then just follow my instructions. Yes, of course. As if receiving amnesty, hurriedly rushed off with the 2 remaining crew members. Daimyo Bai's eyes flashed coldly, these pirates are all nothing good. It's a pity that we have too few people, and I don't really want to complicate this matter, if not, I would completely destroy them. Oscar laughingly said, to think they actually tried to poison us, it's really funny that they are throwing their lives away like that. Tang San replied, these pirates are greedy and afraid of death, as long as we take note of them a little, then there should be nothing to worry about. But from now on, when we sleep at night we will have to take turns standing guard, in case they try something fishy. Although we don't need to worry about meeting a large pirate group. But since we are going to Sea God Island, it is better for us not to stir up too much trouble. The sea demon continued its sail as usual. However, the originally friendly atmosphere had completely vanished. Standing at the helm, in the control room, Hater's servile look had gradually faded. He was certainly afraid of death, extremely afraid. Everything he had done earlier was out of his instinct to survive, but, after he had calmed down, fear could barely be seen on his face. The veins on his face throbbing like worms, his trembling hands tightly gripping onto the rudder. On the inside, he felt as if he was being bitten by thousands of snakes, a violent pain continuously haunting his heart. Tang San's judgment was right, in normal situations, in order to keep his life, Hader would certainly cooperate with them and send them to Sea God Island. However, it is impossible to guess what a person is thinking after all. Tang San did not have the ability to see into the future, and what he did not know was that, among the 5 crew members that Ma Hung-jun killed, the one who perished alongside the first mate was Hader's own son, his only son. Hader's eyes narrowed, his son was his only hope, since at his age wanting to advance further was practically impossible. Everything he had done these few years, it was mostly done for his son. He had already decided that, after saving some more money, he would sail the sea demon to the other side of the ocean, letting his son find himself a wife and live his life peacefully. But, the incident today had completely destroyed his plans. He had a son no more, neither did he have a future left. Since you killed my son, I will bury you all along with him. At this point, Hader's eyes were filled with a maniacal madness. Gazing out at the boundless ocean, Hader's pupils constricted. He did not lie to Tang San, in his mind, he certainly possessed a map of the ocean. However, in this map there was a taboo ground, which was where they were headed. After another day of sailing, the Shrek 7 Devils got used to the turbulence of the seas. As the size of the crew diminished, they had to prepare their meals themselves. However, due to Oscar being an auxiliary food system spirit master, they had no need to worry about not having enough food. Hader and the 2 remaining crew appeared very honest. Tang San constantly carefully checked the route. The general route was indeed correct, it was the same as the one that Grandmaster had given him. As such, when night fell, he gradually became relieved. In about 7 more days, they would reach their destination. Sea God Island, just what kind of place was it? Without reaching it, one could only guess. As the night progressed, Tang San, who was responsible for keeping watch, leaned against the side of the ship. The moon and stars were missing tonight. Even with his purple demon eyes, it was hard to see far in this boundless ocean. However, Tang San really enjoyed the feeling of the sea breeze, the faint cold air accompanied by the salty taste of the sea brought him this undescribable comfort. An oil lamp glowed in the control room where usually the first mate would be steering the ship now. However, since there was no first mate, Hader did not rest. The position that Tang San was standing in allowed him to see into the control room and see Hader at the helm, staring out dazedly into the darkness, not knowing what he was thinking. Turning around, Tang San once again looked out towards the darkness, and for some unknown reason, suddenly felt himself getting cold. Given his strength, this was the first time he experienced something like this. This feeling of cold was not from outside his body but rather from the inside. Tang San's mental powers expanded, and he quickly pinpointed the location of this coldness. His left hand flashed and the clear sky hammer appeared in his palms. Tang San was surprised to see that the Death God domain engraved on the clear sky hammer started to give out a brilliant white light. In the silence of darkness, every texture became all the more clear, the dense cold seemingly starting a cold war against Tang San. He could clearly feel that the feeling given to him by the Death God domain was no good, it was some kind of a warning of substantial danger. Is danger approaching? This is the first time that Tang San experienced something like this ever since he obtained the Death God domain. Hurriedly turning around, he strode towards the control room with large strides. Captain Hader. Tang San knocked on the control room doors. Hader opened the doors and respectfully asked, "Great Spirit Emperor, what is it that you ask of me?" Tang San inquired, "Is our ship on the right course?" Hader nodded his head saying, "Of course it is. We have followed the map that you gave us. This region of the ocean is called the Demonic Whale Depths, and is the deepest region nearby. Is it said that the depth of water here reaches over 1,000 meters deep? That is why if a flying type spirit master were to look at it from above, he would see that the waters here have the darkest color. Demonic Whale Depths? Why is it called like this?" Tang San asked doubtfully. Hader replied, "That is because, under this expanse of ocean lives a demonic whale, which is what gives this place the name." Demonic whale? It is a sea spirit beast. Tang San's heart jolted, as his gaze towards Hader sharpened. Hader nodded his head, saying, "That is right, the demonic whale here is indeed a sea spirit beast. Not only that, it is also a relatively strong one, and is known as the overlord of the oceans. It should be 100,000-year-old existence. However, it is generally lazy and only lurks on the seafloor, as by opening its mouth it swallows enough sea creatures to keep it alive." 100,000-year-old spirit beast? Tang San's heart suddenly skipped a beat, he could clearly feel that the sense of danger coming from the clear sky hammer was growing stronger. Since you knew about the existence of this powerful 100,000-year-old spirit beast, then why didn't you steer away? Asked Tang San coldly, the clear sky hammer already starting to emit a brilliant glow. Hater purposely acted as in shock, reasoning, didn't you say yourself we need to reach the Sea God Island as fast as possible? So I naturally didn't make any detours. Oh, I also forgot to mention the whale's left eye is blind, and during spring and autumn it will swim east, while during summer and winter it swims westwards. As a result, it can be safe to sail past the demonic whale depths. As long as we sail along the side where the whale is blind, it would be hard to offend the whale. What's more, I already told you it is pretty lazy, he won't take the initiative to attack people who don't enter its territory. It is autumn now, and still quite a ways from winter, so it should be heading east, with its blind side facing north, while our sea demon is just nicely south of its body. Seeing Hater's smile slowly turning evil, Tang San knew that this was bad. Quickly grabbing control of the ship he steered them away. Hater's eyes filled with provocation as he smiled, it's too late, there is no time left. We have already entered the demonic whale depths. Also we have just released some explosives used for bombing fish from the bridge of the ship. Listen, can't you hear the sounds? Like this, even if the demonic whale had good temper, it should be enough to make it mad, right? Oh, I also forgot to mention, the 100,000-year-old spirit beasts in the ocean are many times more terrifying than those on land. It is said that because this demonic whale is too strong, that is why the sea god blinded it in one eye. Indeed, as Hater mentioned, from under the surface of the ocean came several loud sounds. Waves also started surging out from the originally calm surface of the ocean. Tang San stopped what he was doing, waving the clear sky hammer towards Hater's chest, pinning his body towards the wall of the control room. Why did you do this? Are you not afraid of death? Speak. Is there any way of remedying this? Hater laughed, laughing hysterically he said, remedy? The only remedy is your deaths. You killed my son, so now you all can go and join him. With my son dead, what use is there in living? This ship, the sea demon is my whole fortune. Come, kill me. Then I can go meet my son again. Ha ha, ha 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 ha. Seeing Hater, Tang San stared at him for a moment before his sharp gaze calmed down, he finally knew what he had done wrong. However, it was too late to try and remedy it. Putting away his clear sky hammer, Tang San tapped Hater's chest a few times, removing the restrictions put on him. I can understand your feelings as a father. However, have you ever thought about it? In your lifetime as a pirate, how many fathers' sons have you killed? You say this demonic whale is about to arrive, I won't kill you. If you have the ability then escape. From Hater, he thought of his own father. Hater, given his greedy and timid personality, was willing to perish alongside his son's enemies. A parent's love is indeed incomparable. Towards a pirate, Tang San would never give mercy. However, for a father seeking vengeance for his child, Tang San could not bring himself to kill. What he left Hater with was a chance to fend for himself. Hater dazedly stared at Tang San walk out the door, and could not help but freeze for a moment. He never anticipated an outcome such as Tang San actually letting him off. Everyone, wake up! Hurry and come out now! After quickly returning to the deck, Tang San shouted loudly while at the same time releasing his spirit and his 8 spider lances. The 8 blood-red spider lances sunk deeply into the deck of ship, stabilizing him to react for any situation. The night was dark, while the seas were desolate. However, all he could feel was the feeling of impending danger. Even now, Tang San as usual still did not lose his cool. With Oscar's mushroom sausages, in addition to Ma Heng-jun, Bai Chen-xiang and his own ability to fly, as long as they quickly ascended and flew out of here, abandoning the sea demon, they should have little risk. When they re-entered the ocean, all they had to do would be to paddle their own paddle boats they had brought along. This was the best solution to this situation. Tang San's shout was infused with his mental power, even if the rest were in deep sleep or cultivating, they would be awakened by him. One by one they walked out. As Tang San had to stand guard, and was unwilling to keep Xiao Wu in the wishful 100 treasures purse, he had her sleep together with Ning Rongrong. Although Xiao Wu had woken up, when she came out with Ning Rongrong, she looked as bleary-eyed as ever, leaning on her shoulder. Little Ao, flying mushroom sausages, give everyone one. Let's go. While saying that, Tang San went over to take over Xiao Wu. When everyone saw Tang San's 8 spire lances they knew something big had happened, immediately waking up from their dazed state. As Tang San instructed, Oscar started making flying mushroom sausages. As he did so, the air around the ship started to distort. All of a sudden a shock wave came from under their feet along with a deafening sound wave, sending the 8 of them in addition to the sea demon fiercely into the air. The sea demon, which was a rather large ship, and which was even reinforced with an armored hull, was actually torn to pieces from this large impact. Even Tang San, who was attached to the ship's deck, was sent completely flying. The most frightening thing was the strength of the shockwave, which stunned them as they were thrown 100 meters into the air. The originally calm waters suddenly became turbulent. A torrent of water 15 meters in diameter shot up into the sky, completely ruining the sea demon. Following the demise of the sea demon, a large island-like body surfaced on the ocean. All the surrounding water giving off a dense blue luster. At this moment it looked as if the sky had become the ground as the sea transformed into a bright blue sky. A low roar resounded, sending a powerful shockwave into the sky. Before recovering from the previous shockwave, they were even more heavily stunned by this second one. The body which surfaced from the ocean spanned over 200 meters in length, its whole body shining like a sapphire, with 2 huge eyes on its head. And as Hader said, its left eye was just a black hole, each eye having a diameter of nearly 3 meters. The only eye left stared at them coldly. With what seemed like a simple swing of its body, a humongous tail raised from behind, and along with a blue light slapped the surface of the sea, shooting out 100 millions of water droplets into the sky, each rushing forward like a speeding arrow. In mid-air, a strange water curtain illuminated the horizon, and this water curtain covered the crushed sea demon and everyone that was in the air. Compared to this, the water arrows Ma Hong-jun previously faced could be regarded as trash. The first thing they came into contact with was the debris of the ship, but if previously it could be considered debris, then now it could only be considered powder. This was the power of a 100,000-year-old spirit beast, a power even more frightening than a tidal DouLuo. After provoking a 100,000-year-old spirit beast, all that awaited was ruin. Amongst the Shrek 7 devils, the first to recover was Tang San. Not because he was the strongest, but rather because his mental power was stronger than the rest. The moment he had recovered was the moment the 100,000-year-old spirit beast slapped the surface of the ocean with its tail. "Wake up!" roared Tang San, as if a clap of thunder in mid-air. He had clearly seen Hader and the other 2 crew members torn to shreds by the water torrent. Also, after seeing the terrible state of the ship, he knew profoundly that this water torrent was not something that he could resist at his level. Due to his roar filled with spiritual force, other than Xiaowu and Bai Chen Xiang, the rest of them also recovered. 7 as 1. Tang San's voice was almost hoarse from shouting these words. It ends here. Subscribes, likes and shares.